Have you ever wondered, is Russia truly a part of Europe? Or is it an entirely different planet? Imagine a land where winters plunge to -20 degrees Celsius. Yet summers explode into festivals of light. Where nights and days blur into one seamless flow of time. A country where subway stations are not mere transit hubs, but underground palaces shimmering with marble and chandeliers. A place where streets transform into fashion runways. Where luxury cars glide past crumbling Soviet-era apartments, a contrast both dazzling and mysterious. To many, Russia is not just a nation, it is its own planet. Operating under rules that feel almost alien. While the rest of the world rushes toward globalization, Russia stands defiantly apart. With a history as dense as permafrost, and a culture as alive as the street dances of Moscow. At the threshold of the 21st century, we encounter two opposing yet intertwined souls: Moscow, the city of power, speed, and relentless light, and St. Petersburg, the city of art, poetry, and endless white nights. This is not merely a geographical journey, but a voyage of the imagination, where we will uncover sights that are beautiful, paradoxical, and almost unbelievable. And today, I invite you to step with me into this journey. In the documentary, Life in Russia, It's Not Europe, It's Another Planet. Number 1. Moscow, the beating heart of Russia. If a heart could beat with steel, glass, and light, that heart would be called Moscow. Spanning over 2.561 square kilometers and home to more than 12 million people. Moscow is the most populous city in Russia and the second largest in Europe after Istanbul. But Moscow is far more than numbers and statistics. It is a living organism, where lifeblood flows through wide boulevards. Skyscrapers mirror the gray skies above, and old quarters still breathe the spirit of centuries past. Walking along the Moskva River, you encounter bridges that have stood for hundreds of years. Once bustling with merchants trading goods across the empire. Today, those bridges not only connect the two banks of the city but also link past and present. As endless lines of cars flow above them, headlights glowing and reflecting off the calm waters below. With over 850 years of history, Moscow is not just a political capital, not just a financial hub, but a crucible of culture, power, and art. It is a time machine, one that transports you back to the days of the czars while simultaneously thrusting you into the relentless pace of the modern world. Yet Moscow is never static. It evolves. It adapts. It reinvents itself constantly, pulsing like a powerful heart within the vast body of Russia. And this is only the beginning. Because behind that heartbeat lies countless other stories, strange, captivating, and waiting to be uncovered. Number 2. Red Square and St. Basil's Cathedral, the soul of history and a symbol of Russia. Stepping into Red Square feels like walking into a living page of a fairy tale, where every cobblestone is soaked with the dust of centuries. This is not merely a vast plaza in the heart of Moscow, but the very soul of Russia's history, a place that has witnessed the thunder of Soviet military parades, speeches that shaped the fate of the nation, and today welcomes millions of visitors from across the globe each year. Rising proudly at its center, St. Basil's Cathedral stands like a dreamlike fortress. Its onion-shaped domes, painted in vibrant colors, red, green, yellow, and white, flare upward like eternal flames burning in the Russian spirit. Commissioned by Ivan the Terrible in the 16th century to commemorate his victory over Kazan, this cathedral is both a religious masterpiece and a symbol of imperial might. Legend whispers that Ivan blinded the architect, Postnik Yakovlev, so he could never build anything as magnificent again. Though historians debate the truth of this tale, it adds an aura of myth to the cathedral's legacy. Standing in Red Square, you do not simply see architecture, you feel the collision of past and present. The imposing Kremlin walls loom beside Lenin's mausoleum, while modern crowds pose for photos, smiling in the shadow of history. This square is not just a tourist attraction, it is a timeless crossroad where power, faith, and memory intertwine. Red Square and St. Basil's Cathedral remain enduring symbols of Russia's strength and spirit. And from this iconic heart, our journey continues, unraveling deeper mysteries that lie ahead. Number 3. Moscow Metro, the underground palaces. In Moscow, the metro is not merely a means of transportation, it is a living museum beneath the ground. With 11 lines, more than 160 stations, and millions of passengers every single day, the Moscow Metro is the lifeline of this vast city. Yet what makes it extraordinary is its architecture, unlike any other metro system in the world. Built during the Soviet era, each station was designed not simply as a stop along the way, but as a masterpiece of art, adorned with marble walls, crystal chandeliers, mosaics, and intricate reliefs. Step into Komsomolskaya Station, and you might think you have entered a royal palace. The golden ceilings shimmer, detailed mosaics gleam, and the ornate design casts a glow that makes you forget this is just a subway station. For the Soviet Union, metro architecture was more than function. It was a declaration of power, a vision of bringing art and grandeur into the lives of everyday people. Workers, students, and artists alike walk through these underground palaces daily, experiencing magnificence on their commute. Today, the Moscow Metro stands as an international icon, proof that infrastructure can be elevated into cultural heritage. And from the depths of these tunnels, Moscow reveals yet another layer of its enigmatic soul, beckoning us to continue this journey of discovery. Number 4. Street culture in Russia, fashion, music, and art. On the streets of Moscow, every step feels like a catwalk, and every corner transforms into a stage for music and art. Russians have long been known for their attention to appearance, even for something as casual as a coffee date. They dress with elegance and style, as if taking part in a silent performance. Along the sidewalks, young musicians play violins, guitars, or sing melancholic ballads, turning music into the heartbeat of the city. One summer afternoon, outside a small cafe, a group of friends sits sipping lattes while live streaming a street performer. Views and comments from around the world flash across their screens, blending Russia's timeless traditions with the rhythm of the digital age. This scene illustrates that Moscow is not only a political or financial capital but also a cultural hub where the younger generation embraces freedom, confidence, and connection with the world through art, fashion, and technology. In the warm glow of evening lights, modern outfits mix with classical styles. Street melodies merge with laughter, painting a portrait that is both romantic and vibrant. Street culture in Moscow is more than aesthetics, it is a mirror reflecting the aspirations of Russian youth to be global citizens. And from here, our journey continues, leading us to a different realm where the fusion of cultures stretches beyond the streets and flows outward, toward the borders of Europe. Number 5. St. Petersburg, Russia's gateway to Europe. If Moscow is Russia's heart of steel, then St. Petersburg is its artistic soul. With nearly 6 million residents, the city lies at the Western Gateway, only a few hours from Finland, serving as a bridge between Russia and Europe. Founded by Peter the Great in 1703, St. Petersburg was born out of a daring vision to transform swampland into a window to Europe. Walking along Nevsky Prospect, you encounter a living canvas of neoclassical architecture, bustling cafes, grand theaters, and elegant facades bearing the marks of centuries. By night, the city glows with reflections on the Neva River, where bridges rise like open arms to welcome ships from the Baltic Sea. Beyond its beauty, St. Petersburg is a powerhouse of academia, art, and science, hosting more than 40 universities, including the prestigious St. Petersburg State University. This city has given the world great writers, composers, and artists whose influence echoes far beyond Russia's borders. St. Petersburg embodies both the legacy of the empire and the drive for cultural integration. A fusion of East and West that makes it one of the most unique cities in the world. It is a place where imperial history and modern life coexist, where Russian identity meets European inspiration. And it is precisely this duality that turns St. Petersburg into a stage where past and present perform side by side. From here, our journey will lead us further into extraordinary phenomena, where nature and humanity intertwine to create mysteries that defy belief. Number 6. White Nights Festival, a carnival of light in summer. Is there a place where the sun refuses to set, where night dissolves into day, and light lingers like an endless dream? That place is St. Petersburg in summer, during the White Nights phenomenon, which lasts from May to July. During this period, the sun barely grazes the horizon before rising again, bathing the city in near constant daylight. The sky takes on a pale, ethereal blue, like an oil painting stretched across the heavens. Locals and visitors alike seize this natural wonder, turning summer nights into endless celebrations. Picture this, at midnight on the Neva River. Illuminated boats glide gently across the water. Music drifts through the air. Crowds sing and dance along the banks, their laughter blending with the sound of the waves. Public squares erupt with open-air concerts, festivals, and dazzling fireworks lighting up the twilight sky. For travelers, it is an experience found in only a handful of places on Earth, making St. Petersburg one of the most romantic and magical cities in the world. The White Nights are not merely a natural phenomenon. They are a reminder that St. Petersburg is a stage where humanity and the cosmos meet, where light, art, and joy merge into a single rhythm. And from this festival of light, our journey takes us onward, toward a more grounded reality of life that lies beneath the brilliance. Number 7. The harsh reality behind the lights. Behind the dazzling lights and glittering boulevards, Moscow and St. Petersburg hide a shadowy reality that leaves no one untouched. You may witness luxury cars gliding along Petrovka Street or gaze at the brilliance of high-end boutiques in shopping centers. Yet just a few blocks away, a family of 3 generations is crammed into a tiny 40-square-meter apartment. Renting a modest flat in central St. Petersburg today costs between 70,000 and 100,000 rubles per month, roughly 900 to 1,200 USD, while the average monthly income barely reaches 1,100 United States dollars. This forces families into relentless labor, with every member, from grandparents to children, working simply to survive. Picture it, in a dim room. The grandfather reads an old newspaper. The grandmother cooks in a narrow kitchen. Parents endure 2 daily shifts, while a child studies beneath the flickering glow of a worn lamp. Together they sustain the fragile dream of a better life. Russia, like many megacities across the globe, is a land of paradoxes, dazzling on the outside, yet complex and unforgiving within, a place where dreams and harsh realities coexist. In one moment, you might see a lavish party on the banks of the Moskva River, and just a few metro stops away, Soviet-era apartment blocks where time seems frozen in the 1970s. The cinematic imagery is striking, neon lights reflecting off a Lamborghini, then cutting to a dilapidated apartment window fogged with condensation, where a child presses their face against the glass, eyes filled with both curiosity and longing. These are 2 worlds, coexisting side by side within a single city. And the haunting question lingers: perhaps this is the very essence of Russia, a planet apart, where beauty and hardship walk hand in hand, where light and darkness intertwine to create a portrait unlike anything else on Earth. Let us pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and allow the images we've witnessed to echo in our minds. Moscow and St. Petersburg, the 2 opposing souls of Russia, one powerful, vibrant, and dazzling, the other artistic, reflective, and poetic. One is a heart of steel beating with light and speed. The other a tender spirit resonating through endless white nights. Yet behind it all, the haunting question remains: where does Russia truly belong? Is it Europe, Asia, or a world unto itself, a planet that humanity can only visit, never fully grasp? In this interlude, we realize that Russia's strangeness is more than national identity. It is a mirror reflecting humanity's timeless questions. Who are we? Why do we create? And what will we leave behind for those who come after us? Picture ancient ruins shimmering beneath the starry skies of Siberia, or a blazing fire ritual in the desert night of Kalmykia, images reminding us that every civilization dances between opposites, glory and decay, creation and collapse. And it is within this stillness, this quiet reflection, that Russia's story opens once more, preparing to take us deeper into a realm where darkness and light intertwine, shaping paradoxes that linger long after the journey ends. We have journeyed from the dazzling energy of Moscow to the poetic wonder of St. Petersburg. From marble-lined underground palaces to the radiant white nights. From luxury cars cruising down grand boulevards to cramped apartments where 3 generations share the same small space. Together, they form a portrait both breathtaking and paradoxical, forcing us to ask, what is Russia? Truly? Is it part of Europe? Part of Asia? Or is it a world apart, a planet of its own? Where light and shadow, opulence and struggle, tradition and modernity coexist side by side? These stories are not merely for observation, but for reflection. What kind of world are we living in? And what legacy will we leave behind? The final image lingers in the mind, a city bathed in shimmering lights, mirrored upon the Neva River, silently reminding us that Earth still holds countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. If you wish to continue this journey through strange and inspiring realms, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing fascinating discoveries. Together, let us turn the pages of this endless book we call our planet, where every journey reveals a new and extraordinary story.